Thank you for being a part of today's conference call. Today's subject is 2 weddings. To some, having 2 weddings may seem more absurd than having 2 wedding dresses, but it could be practical. Here's why. The first wedding will be called the starter wedding. It works best as a destination wedding because you get the wedding and the honeymoon all in one. The starter wedding is small with only the most essential guests. It can also be an elopement type wedding with only the bride and groom. A ball gown or really expensive dress isn't necessary. A nice A-line, sheath, or mermaid for $1,000 or less will do. If you want bridesmaids, just go to a wedding store, pick a color, and let your bridesmaids choose any dress as long as it's that color. Don't use caterers or wedding planners for the starter wedding because there are many options for a reception. You can have a reception at your favorite restaurant. Set aside $50 to $100 per guest so you can pay for each person's meal, but invite 10 people or less so your reception budget is $1,000 or less. Ask if the restaurant has a private space for you and your party to celebrate a special event. Remember to keep the guest list small. If you're doing a destination wedding, ask if the hotel has a restaurant where you can reserve a small dining area for you and your guests. A cocktail party afterwards at your house is another option. You can also order in. Some restaurants cater or take out and party at home or free at parks. If you want to be outdoors, then a picnic reception is fun and easy. Let the guests know that this is your starter wedding so you're not being cheap. A bigger wedding will come later. That's a general explanation on what a starter wedding is and how to have one. Someone may ask, why have a starter wedding? Well, if a bride doesn't feel like planning a wedding or knows she can't afford the wedding of her dreams anytime soon, but wants to get married right away, a starter wedding is the answer. That way, she has time to plan and save for the dream wedding. Another scenario is that a couple wants to buy a house or condo with the money that they have now instead of paying for a big wedding. They want to have a big wedding someday, but as for now, buying a home together is more important. A starter wedding gets the couple married at the cheapest price possible, and the rest could go to building their lives together while saving for the big wedding. The next reason is not the nicest reason, but it's realistic. You love each other and want to marry, but you honestly don't know if it will last. A starter wedding lets you test the waters without the big wedding investment. When you're more sure that your union will last, you can move on to the big wedding. Another reason pay and want to have that big wedding someday, but can't right now. Announce a starter wedding and have a big one later. The next reason is that you need time to get everybody together that you want at your wedding. Have a starter wedding now and give them a few years to show up at the big wedding. This works if your guests are college students, in the military, graduate students, travel for business, etc., etc., etc. So, let's talk about the big wedding. The second wedding is called the keeper wedding. The keeper wedding happens after you've been married for a few years. You have built a life together and maybe even have a little one. The keeper weddings are special because you should feel like this marriage is going to last. You are more certain that this is the person you want to be with for the rest of your life, and you are ready to celebrate that. The keeper wedding is not a vow renewal because the starter wedding was just a beginner's wedding. The keeper wedding goes all out. You should have been planning and saving for it the whole time you were married. Now it's time to bring in the caterers, wedding planners, and everything else that goes with planning a wedding. Ideally, the dress you wore for your starter wedding will be your reception dress, and you will get a new wedding dress for the ceremony. The really special part of the keeper wedding is that you may now have kids and they can be in the wedding. The family that you've started can help you plan out the keeper wedding. If you have kids, you can show them the videos and pictures from your starter wedding and tell them how you want the keeper to be. Ideally, all the people in your starter wedding can attend or be a part of the keeper. You can have them sit it out and just attend while you give others a chance to be in the wedding, or you can just add new faces to the starter guests if you want the starters in the keeper wedding. The keeper wedding should be about 5 years after your starter wedding. This gives you time to save and plan. The idea of 2 weddings shouldn't sound so absurd anymore. It can be both practical and really special when planned out this way.